While riding on the bus home one night, Sakura Koji sees a boy seemingly burning people to death with blue flames in the park. After she alerts a policeman to come with her to the park, there seems to be no trace of anything having occurred. The next day at school, a new transfer student is assigned to her class, and it turns out to be the same boy she saw in the park, Codebreaker 06 Rei Ogami. Even though she questions him, Ogami is able to provide a solid alibi for his actions, though not convincing Sakura. After school, while lamenting the killing of a homeless man in the park by the G-Falcon street gang, Sakura meets Ogami where they have a talk about what it means to judge the actions of criminals. The next day, while visiting a stray dog in the park, Sakura witnesses the G-Falcon gang attacking another person and intervenes. She's able to hold them off with her martial arts until getting stunned with a taser. The dog also tries to protect Sakura, but the gang members severely injure it. Just when Sakura is about to be killed, Ogami shows up and kills the dog, who he deemed was beyond saving, much to Sakura's horror. He then turns to the gang members and presents an ultimatum: turn themselves in or die. They then attack Ogami, choosing the second option. Ogami then uses his power of summoning blue flames to eradicate them all. Ogami then walks up to the shocked Sakura and uses the flames to kill her. Sakura wakes up in her room the following morning after seemingly being killed by Ogami. At school, Sakura grows highly cautious of Ogami despite him acting as if nothing transpired the night before whilst among their peers. Elsewhere, Codebreaker 03 Yuki Tenpoint is given a picture of ex-Codebreaker 01 Hitomi as his opponent. After school, Sakura draws Ogami to a populated city square, where she tries to reason with him about killing those men the night before. However, she is still not able to accept that he can commit such acts without any emotional response. Ogami explains to her the nature of his being as a codebreaker, which is one who passes judgment on evildoers via means that would be considered evil to the rest of the world. Ogami then tries to burn Sakura, who flees from fright. However, she does state that he will kill anyone with whom she confides his secret, causing Sakura to also make sure that he doesn't kill any more people by keeping an eye on him. Afterwards, Ogami receives a call from a mysterious woman, pondering why Sakura is not dead, to which Ogami says that she's a rare person who cannot be burned. Later, Yuki encounters Hitomi, who has the power of electricity. Yuki attacks Hitomi with sound waves, but is stopped by Recode Agent 04, Yukihina, who has the special ability of controlling ice. Sakura goes to school with Ogami and finds her locker stuffed with love letters from fellow students. While walking to the student council office with Ogami, Sakura runs into Nenene Fujiwara. Ogami attempts to burn Nenene, mistaking her for somebody else, but is stopped by Sakura. A mysterious boy receives a call to work with Ogami, who later gives Sakura a puppy of the dog that tried to protect her at the park as a gift. Sakura goes with Ogami to a local Yakuza office, where he is offered a job selling drugs. However, Ogami kills all the Yakuza members and two corrupt policemen there instead. Ogami threatens to kill the drug victims, but is stopped by Sakura and gives them a reason to live. Ogami goes to a car waiting outside the Yakuza office with corrupt Chief of Police Takada inside. But Ogami gives chase when Takada attempts to flee. The mysterious boy from earlier is revealed to be Codebreaker 04 Toki Fujiwara, who blows up the car that Takada was in with his powers of magnetism. Ogami appears before Eden, the Codebreaker Policy Governance Board, where he is given his next job to assassinate a politician named Tabata Shigeru. Sakura wakes up in front of her house and is questioned by her parents about her recent behavior. Sakura lies to them, but her parents choose to overlook this aspect. When she comes outside her house, she meets Toki, who walks with her to school. However, Ogami suddenly appears and immediately begins to fight Toki. That is, until Sakura stops the two. Sakura and Ogami head to school after Toki leaves. At school, Sakura spots Toki and she leaves class to find out what he is doing. Upon being discovered by teacher Miyuki Kanada, Toki lies that he's auditing the school and is allowed to stay. Ogami and Toki later go on a job, and Sakura accidentally ends up tagging along. Ogami reveals Toki's power is that of controlling magnetic fields, and this can move any metallic object. After breaking into a compound housing a government research facility for special abilities and dealing with the normal security guards, Ogami and Toki engage in a battle with two guards wearing large fueled backpacks, which allows them to have special abilities of wind and water. During the battle, the two guards are forced to retreat when their backpacks suddenly run dry, allowing Ogami and Toki to continue with the mission. Inside the facility, Sakura learns that the Code Breakers are a government agency run directly under the command of the Prime Minister. The facility houses kids with special abilities hooked up to machines for close monitoring, in which the lower levels of the facility are used for experiments via dissections, having their organs removed and sold, and their corpses placed in large preservative jars. Tabata is revealed to be the head of the research facility. The two guards return and resume their fight with Ogami and Toki, who both discover that the backpacks each contained a child with special abilities, who each had a younger sibling among the failed experiments. The two children finally rest in peace when Ogami and Toki kill the guards. Just as Ogami is about to kill Tabata, his crippled daughter, Chisa Shigeru, appears. It turns out that Tabata had performed such experiments in order to find a suitable transplant for Chisa, who also has special abilities. Sakura tries to convince Ogami not to kill Tabata, but Ogami has no choice but to kill Tabata, who tried to attack him with a scalpel. Chisa passes out after Ogami goads her to take revenge on him in the future, and Toki finds out that Hitomi is the real mastermind behind the research project. The remaining children are transported to another research facility, while Chisa receives medical attention. While Toki has lunch with the Prime Minister, who is actually his father, he's reminded that he became a codebreaker in order to keep his sister, Nenene, away from his father in order to protect her. On their way to school, Sakura and Ogami run into Codebreaker 05 Rui Prince Hachioji, who gives Ogami orders to protect Sakura. At school, the class is acting strangely, which causes Ogami to suspect that Sakura has exposed his secret as a codebreaker. However, it turns out that the class was actually preparing a welcome party for Ogami. At the same time, Toki is seen collapsing in pain in an alley someplace, and the Prime Minister is informed that a total of 43 agents have gone missing in search of Hitomi. Back at the party, the school is attacked by the 43 missing agents, whose dead bodies have been reanimated through the use of Hitomi's power. Ogami momentarily collapses while fighting the dead agents. Kanda arrives to help, revealing herself as an agent of Eden assigned to Ogami. Yuki also appears to assist them in fending off the attack. Codebreaker 02, Masayomi Heiki, a classmate of Sakura and Ogami who habitually has tea in the most random of places, joins the fight as well and successfully defeated the agents using light manipulation. Toki is still shown collapsed in the alley, but now in the form of a child. Ogami's collapse causes him to be in his lost form, a state which will last 24 hours due to overuse of his powers. Sakura volunteers her house as a secure location for Ogami to recover. When Sakura brings Yuki, Heiki, and Kanda there, they are welcomed by her father, Gotoku Sakurakoji, head of the highly respected Yakuza clan called the Kizakura. After her cosplaying mother, Yuki Sakurakoji, brings them to the guest house, it is revealed that Toki, who was already there, is in his lost form called age regression, which explains his childlike appearance. While Ogami is resting, the others have a feast together. At night, Heiki informs Toki that Hitomi might be targeting both Ogami and Sakura, but has no idea why. The next morning, Rui is ordered to go to Sakura's house to provide support for both Ogami and Toki. When Hitomi raids Sakura's house in order to kidnap Sakura, the Codebreakers do their best to fight back against his electrical attacks. Hitomi then unleashes his full power against them, but Sakura jumps in front of his attack and is surprisingly unharmed. It turns out that Hitomi's attack was just a decoy to gather all the Codebreakers, thus leaving an opening for Yukihana to kidnap the Prime Minister. Yuki's lost form is revealed to be a cat. While the Codebreakers discuss what their next plan of action should be, Toki leaves, uninterested in rescuing his father. As the Codebreakers continue to discuss their plan, none except Ogami have the convictions to kill their former leader. Toki goes to Nenene, who seems to remember him, but she suddenly reverts to her old self, unaware of who Toki is. When the Kizakura members who were injured during Hitomi's attack are being tended to their wounds, Sakura finds Ogami looking at her family photo album. Ogami is explained that Gotoko and Yuki adopted Sakura as a child after finding her outside of their doorstep one night with blood splattered all over her. Meanwhile, Yuki and Rui reminisce about when Hitomi used to be good. When Toki returns, Sakura and the other Codebreakers head out in search of Hitomi and the Prime Minister. At school, Kanda meets up with several other faculty members, all of whom work for Eden as Codebreaker supporters. Since Kanda is a former subordinate of Hitomi, the plan is for her to use any possible remaining trust to kill Hitomi. After Rui meets with Heiki at a bridge, he attacks her for figuring out that he is a part of Hitomi's scheme. Yuki, as Rui tries to keep the bridge from collapsing, witnesses Heiki attack her from afar. Heiki then appears to Sakura and tricks her into following him, leading her directly to Hitomi's hideout with the Prime Minister taken hostage. Heiki exchanges her as a gesture of goodwill in order to join sides with Hitomi, while all the codebreakers receive anonymous messages detailing Hitomi's location. Hitomi tells Sakura to sit back and wait for the plan to commence, but Sakura becomes angered when Heiki mentions that he reduced Rui to a bloody mess. Yuki informs Ogami of Heiki's betrayal, and the two proceed to Hitomi's hideout together. While Yuki holds off Heiki, Ogami proceeds to confront Hitomi and rescue Sakura. However, Ogami is stopped by Kanda, who is under Hitomi's electrical control, yet Sakura eventually prevents Ogami from killing Kanda. Hitomi shows his clock collection on the wall, each stopped at a time when a former codebreaker was killed. Hitomi plans to execute the Prime Minister, but he first bombs the city full of civilians as a spectacle of exposing codebreakers, in order to recognize them as great heroes rather than dangerous outcasts. Ogami disagrees with the cause and burns all the clocks, but as Ogami proceeds to attack Hitomi, Yukihina arrives and intervenes, taking the Prime Minister with him. Although Ogami is unable to do anything since his flames cannot melt Yukihina's ice, Toki arrives just in time to save Ogami and Sakura from a barrage of ice. The hideout begins to collapse and everyone leaves. However, Sakura enters the car with Hitomi, hoping to prevent them from killing the Prime Minister. When Hitomi was 16 years old, he was inaugurated as Codebreaker 06, and due to his excellence at his job, he was considered for a promotion. Heiki was revealed as his senior at that time. 4 years later, Hitomi's unnamed partner, Codebreaker 05 at the time, was killed during an operation, and it is shown that his watch stopped working the moment he died. Heiki promoted Hitomi as the new Codebreaker 05, but Hitomi was greatly troubled by his partner's death. 6 years later, being assigned to take out a terrorist couple of supernaturals, Hitomi, as Codebreaker 03, is distraught when the rest of his group except Hitomi died during the mission, and only the leader rogue supernatural managed to escape. Hitomi, explaining to Heiki that Codebreaker 06 at that time was killed by her own powers, requested him to investigate the matter. With Hitomi promoted to Codebreaker 01, he was tasked to train the recruited Codebreakers, Yuki, Toki, Rui, and Ogami, initiating them as Codebreakers after their individual training sessions. However, Hitomi took concern for Ogami's primary focus of eliminating evil without thought of any consequences. During a rescue mission with Ogami and Toki, Hitomi is seen carrying a child, which was the real objective of the rescue mission. Hitomi later told Ogami that their purpose should be protecting the powerless and not simply killing the wicked. On another job with the Codebreakers, Hitomi finally killed the leader rogue supernatural to avenge the deaths of his former comrades. Heiki later informed Hitomi that the Codebreakers could die if they overused their powers numerous times, which was something Eden had kept them from knowing. Although Hitomi failed to reveal this to Ogami, he silently vowed to get revenge on Eden. In the present, Hitomi announces to the public on Sky Tower that he will kill the Prime Minister and 50,000 other civilians across Japan. The Codebreakers continue to search for Hitomi, but are unsuccessful. As bombs continue to detonate throughout Japan, the Codebreakers, the Japanese government, and the Kizakura all receive anonymous emails detailing the locations of the bombs and Hitomi being found at Sky Tower. Toki and Kanda set off to Sky Tower, while Yuki goes out to search for and disable as many bombs as she can. Ogami arrives at Sky Tower first to rescue Sakura, but Hitomi catches him and engages him in an intense battle. Ogami's blue flames are overwhelmed by Hitomi's electricity as a result. As Sakura manages to free herself, Hitomi reveals to them that the Prime Minister attempted to have Hitomi killed in order to prevent him from exposing the Codebreakers. Hitomi then states his desire to make a world where people with special abilities can live happy lives freely, not as government dogs. Toki and Kanda are stopped by Heiki, who faces Toki in a fierce duel. The Japan government and the Kizakura begin to isolate locations with bombs. However, they are short on personnel. Yukihina proceeds to rescue all children with special abilities in the research facility, only to be met by Rui, revealed to still be alive. Toki stands on the roof of Sky Tower where the Prime Minister is held captive, with 20 minutes remaining. While fighting Yukihina, Rui vows to save the children from the research facility. Meanwhile, Hitomi reveals to Ogami, who is standing on the brink of defeat, that the people that Ogami has killed thus far were ones that had helped Hitomi in one way or another. Ogami denies Hitomi's offer to join him, promising to protect the innocent until the very end. However, Ogami goes into his lost form when he tries to attack Hitomi once more, but Sakura tries to protect him from Hitomi, who grabs her by the throat. Elsewhere, Gotoku and some Kizukura members approach a van broadcasting the signal for detonating the bombs. But two boys with special abilities exit the van and begin attacking the group. As the timer reaches 0, no detonation occurs. This is because Yuki found and destroyed the van, thanks to Heiki, who also told Yuki where the research facility housing the children is located. Yuki arrives to help Rui, but Yukihana flees. Heiki confronts Hitomi, believing that the plan has been dismantled. However, Hitomi reveals that he chose Sky Tower as a last resort in order to use his powers to detonate all the bombs through Japan. Toki finally rescues his father after threatening to kill him. Just as Hitomi is about to play his final trump card, Sky Tower is covered in Rui's shadow ability, and the rest of the Codebreakers arrive to stop Hitomi, who continues to rationalize his cause. Ogami then re-enters the fight, removing his thumb ring, which causes his power to rise exponentially. After a quick flashback of when Ogami had his first training session with Hitomi, Ogami's blue flames easily absorb Hitomi's strongest electricity blasts, resulting both of them to collapse. Hitomi is reaching his code end as his own powers begin to attack him. Hitomi, still wanting to continue his plan, is beaten back by Ogami. As he lies defeated and says his last words to all the Codebreakers, Hitomi encourages them to make themselves public as the ones who defeated him and his plot. However, the Prime Minister appears and says otherwise, and Hitomi finally reaches his code end and dies in the arms of Ogami, who leaves after justifying that Hitomi got what he deserved. Toki overhears the public crediting the police department for disabling the bombs and killing Hitomi. Later, Heiki and the Prime Minister discuss that they succeeded in having Ogami battle Hitomi to draw out his true power, which they are curious if this power will fare against Siki. They would use Sakura to be with Ogami to extinguish his flames if he ever goes out of control. The Prime Minister coughs up blood when an electrical spark shocks his body. Sakura individually says farewell to Yuki, Rui, and Toki, who are each assigned missions of their own, mentioning that Ogami has already left as well. As Sakura returns to her normal life, Ogami goes on a mission with Kanda at an airport, battling a man with the special ability of wind. And that's the end of the video. As always, if you liked what you saw, subscribe to the channel. I'll be uploading a lot of videos just like this, so I'll see you at the next one.